guys, hello and welcome. My name is Tracy Palo, your host for this evening. Today, we've invited you here not just to talk about wellness, but to discuss a movement, a revolution in how we think about health, vitality, and human potential. The Make Wellness journey began with a discovery in nature, a single powerful peptide that is the power to redefine the future of human health. Today, we are thrilled to have two incredible individuals, one who I've known for many years, but our CEO, Justin Serra with Make Wellness, and Chief Science Officer, Mark Bartlett, here to share not only the story behind this discovery, but also how it's fueling our mission to transform wellness as we know it. They will reveal how Make Wellness is leading the charge with science-driven solutions, unwavering quality, and a relentless pursuit of impact. So get ready to be inspired, you guys, to learn about what's next and to join us in building a movement that's changing lives. Without further ado, I'd like to bring on our CEO, Justin Serra. Welcome to the call.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm glad to be here. It's wonderful to be with you all. Glad to be invited and wonderful to be here with my partner, Mark, Dr. Mark, as we call him around here. If you can't tell from his backdrop there that he's a doctor, I don't know what else you can say, but I actually haven't known Tracy long, but in the short time that I've known her, guys, I've just been so impressed with her ability to inspire people and lead people. And we are absolutely blessed that she is with us here at Make Wellness. She's got an amazing history of building and leading teams and helping people to really unlock their own potential. And that is at the root of everything that we're doing here at Make Wellness. So grateful to have you on. If you're just joining us, I am Justin Serra. I'm the CEO here at Make Wellness. We are a new company, but many of us have worked together for many, many years. So my main partner in the business is a gentleman named Justin Prince. He and I we're probably coming up on 15 years of experience of working together. So lots and lots of years of trust and development. So while the company may be new, our relationships are anything but new. We're really excited today to share a little bit with you about just kind of behind the scenes, a little bit of what makes us tick, the vision behind what we're doing here. And then ultimately here in a few minutes, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Mark to share with you a little bit more about the science behind what we're doing and hopefully answer some questions that you might have about what we're all about. So to kind of give you a little bit of the foundation, so I've been in the direct selling space for many years, so almost 2 decades. I probably look younger than I am, and I think that's probably by virtue of having worked in this industry for many years. I'm built by these amazing wellness products that, frankly, I think the direct selling industry has actually done an amazing job of bringing actually out to the forefront. Now, why is that? I know that this is a call built with many healthcare practitioners, and I think that we share a similar, I guess, ability in what we do as professionals. We kind of have this unique ability to have this consultative sell with people. You in your practice and in the direct selling space, it's generally a consultative type sell, and we just have a really unique opportunity to couple education with really amazing products. And it's a unique thing that we have that retail doesn't have. They say in retail, you've got 6 seconds to sell somebody when they're walking by that aisle and they pick up that product. You've got about 6 seconds. So it's really hard to tell the types of stories of scientific discovery that we have come across over the years of this direct selling industry, and certainly in the medical field, to tell a story of really breakthrough science in 6 seconds. It just doesn't happen. So I like to think that we have done a lot of work in actually mainstreaming new scientific breakthroughs, and that certainly I feel like is the case here as we're going to talk a little bit more about peptides. I am absolutely not going to educate anybody on this call about peptides. You probably know more than I do about that. Dr. Mark by far knows more than I do about that. So I am certainly not going to be the one to educate you on that. But I am going to hopefully give you a little bit of insight into the foundation of who we are as a company and the vision that we have here. This idea of Make Wellness was really born out of this tagline. You heard Tracy say it a few times, this tagline of unlocking human potential. We really believe in that. And we believe that, great products and science have the ability to do that, but also the ability that we have to create a community of like-minded people is part of what unlocks that potential within each other and within humans themselves. So that was how we set out on this journey, and it was about a year and a half ago that a group of us got together. The kind of foundational people that started this business here with this idea of how can we best unlock human potential, and we really believe that this vehicle of affiliate style marketing and direct selling has the ability to do that. And so as we came together, we actually didn't know what the products were going to be, but we knew that we wanted something that was going to be in this wellness space. We knew that we had this unique ability to tell a story like nobody else does. And so what out there was really cutting edge. A few of us had a little bit of experience with kind of a new emerging area of peptides. Now, I say new emerging. Now, and we know that peptides have been around for a long time. Insulin and others like this, peptides themselves as a, treatment or a therapy is not new, but rather kind of this awakening to what peptides are within the general population. It was really an area that was of interest to us. And what we kind of saw was that while it was this emerging area, there was also challenges with it within what we do and the way that we distribute and sell products. We kind of explored for a minute, is there a kind of telehealth angle here? Are people going to be injecting these products? Like, what about the safety issues that come along with all this stuff? So we recognized that there was kind of problems with what we saw within kind of the peptide space as it were, but we really kept pushing and we kept searching, and we actually found other individuals out there that were doing some really cutting edge work within the field. And what they were doing and what we saw some of these labs doing really aligned with us and our philosophies of finding and identifying in nature peptides that the human body would recognize and then therefore could produce results within the body. And so this idea of a natural source really lit up with us, and we said, okay, now we're starting to speak our language a little bit. Now we're starting to say, this is something that we believe, the general population could really be educated on and really actually improve their lives. And so we went to work on that, and we found a great alignment there. And there's just an emergence of these kind of cutting edge technologies that we saw a way to kind of connect those. So we saw that the technologies breakthroughs within using AI technology to identify these potential peptides out there. Again, I'm going to speak way out of school, but I'm going to tell you the story as I learned the story myself. I remember sitting at a dinner with some of these scientists, and one of them kind of asking me like, how many peptides do you think exist out there in nature? And I was like, well, I know about insulin. I hear about these GLP-1, so I don't know, a few hundred maybe. And they said there's literally billions of peptides that exist in nature, and that the human body has about 7,000 or so of these peptides. And so they said what the challenge actually has been is it's been more of a math problem. So imagine that you have 7,000 locks and you have billions of keys that fit those locks. Now, which of those keys unlock which of those locks? That's a math problem. And so they said the technology that emerged within this AI technology is really what's helped create this breakthrough that now we can identify these. Then scientists can do the work to figure out, are they the right peptides? Are they going to survive the gut? Can they be manufactured? Like all of these questions, but they get essentially a head start with the most promising ones. And that's what has created this opportunity, because prior to that, it was taking years and years and years and years to kind of study one of these peptides. And most of the time they ended up with, oh, it's not going to work. And so that technology breakthrough is really what opened up the field really, really wide open. And so we got excited about that. We got really excited about the manufacturing breakthroughs about hydrolysates and other things that enable us to create and manufacture these peptides, put them into products that then consumers can use in a way that is amazing to them. Put it into a stick pack product that then they can put into a delicious beverage and get the benefits of these ingredients. So we got really excited about that. And we got really excited about not just a peptide or even a handful of peptides, but really excited about this idea of a platform that could identify these ingredients that ultimately could become products for many, many, many years, from many functions within the body. I'll let, Dr. Mark kind of help explain a little bit more about maybe this exciting area that we're seeing, kind of the future. But it's almost like pick almost any function within the body, and peptides are responsible for how that works within us. So you can really see that there's a future here that we got really excited about. And so we went to work on this, and we coupled it with the power of people telling stories and aligning within this vision that we had, that we could really use this to help unlock that human potential, not just from a health and wellness standpoint, but also from a community standpoint. So we came together, we went to work. I can tell you first and foremost that the formulations that we work on, the scientific research that goes into those, the quality controls within the manufacturing process, those are paramount for us. We said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. We went to work. We got some great investors. We raised some money so that we could do it right. We didn't have to take any shortcuts with respect to any of those processes that come along, so that we could produce a product that we felt very confident in, comfortable in, and that we could then share with the world. So we went to work, and it's been nothing short of amazing. I think we're still a startup. We're about 6 months old, but we absolutely are on track to be anything but a startup. I had a board meeting. We had a board meeting actually just yesterday, and our board members are like, it's crazy what's going on over there. And we said, we know, it's actually absolutely phenomenal. We're really proud of that. But it'd be easy for me as the CEO to kind of sit here and pat ourselves on the back and say, we're making this all happen. But the truth is, it's actually people like Tracy and thousands of others who actually are creating that movement. It's not me. It's actually not Dr. Mark. It's the people that are creating that movement out there, that's creating this groundswell of awareness. And I think it speaks to the demand that consumers have for maybe alternatives to other things that they're seeing out there. They're hearing about peptides, but they're maybe concerned about some of the safety concerns that might come along with therapeutics or other areas there, and they don't always have professionals like many of you on here to help guide them. And so I think that we're resonating with individuals that are looking for nature sourced, highly studied, safe products that they can be confident in, and the results that they're getting are just backing up the scientific research that's going into that. So I think we're onto something big here. I think that it certainly is a great opportunity to create a niche offering or expand an offering within practices. We're seeing a lot of healthcare professionals have a success with that as kind of an extension to maybe what they're offering already in their businesses. So we're excited to be here tonight. We're excited to have this conversation with each of you. And so hopefully I've set the stage for you, Dr. Mark, to kind of fill in some of the gaps from a science standpoint. Now, I got to tell you, guys, I've known Mark Bartlett now for a little over a year, so pretty early on in the process. Dr. Mark, we were on his trail to get him to come over and join with us. He came in so early that he is part of our founding team here at Make Wellness. And the thing about Dr. Mark is he's so nice and so approachable that you can miss that he is just I say wicked smart. Like he's just one of those guys that his recall, his experience, like how he's kind of come to where he's come into his career. We are really blessed to have him. He's an integral part of what we're doing here, integral part of our future and kind of expanding and launching new products. So I'm grateful to have him as part of our core executive team and our founding team here. And so with that, Dr. Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of, wow them with the real science behind what we're doing over here. And I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Justin. That was very generous of you. Super excited to be here. I do understand that most of you are sort of in the health practitioner area. Is that right? So I'm going to sort of come at it from that angle a little bit, which is a little different to where I would normally come at it. And that is your perspective probably already is that there are these drug peptides. Usually they're synthetic, things like Ozempic, right? And insulin, very powerful, usually injectable, but they are synthetic. And then there's kind of this, as you move over, there's this other area of compounding pharmacies that are I don't know what you call that. It's probably off label a little bit. Most of the stuff that you buy sort of says it's for experimental use, but we know what it's for, wink, wink, and they're just very powerful. Um, but going back to the basics, then let's sort of talk about the difference between maybe those synthetics and what we're doing, because what we're doing is something a little bit different. So we know that peptides really are just strings of amino acids. And those amino acids, well, where does that formula come from for the string of amino acids that makes a peptide, right? So each one of these colors might be a different amino acid. Where does the formula come from? Basically comes from the DNA. That's all the DNA does, right? It has codons, three base pairs, that signifies what amino acid is going to be sort of strung next to the next one. So this is an entirely natural sort of a process where, eventually that's the primary structure. And then because of, hydrogen bonds and other things, you've got positively charged, negatively charged, hydrophobic, hydrophilic amino acids that make it up. Then it starts to, in an aqueous environment, it starts to fold until eventually you maybe have a globular protein and sometimes just a simple peptide, which is a short amino acid string. And we've known, like as an immunologist, I've known about peptides and proteins as signaling molecules for, I don't know, the 40 years that I've been doing this. When I went to the National Cancer Institute, that was my focus, cell-cell communication. And how do they communicate? They text to each other. Well, that's what we could call it, but basically they are little amino acid signals, peptide signals, protein signals. That's how they communicate. So there's this network. I mean, it's like a telecommunication network through the body. The muscle alone has at least 600 of these messengers. So when your muscle is working, it's sending BDNF to the brain saying, hey, you need to stay sharp. This is neuroplasticity signals. It sends signals to the bones. So then as we started to develop techniques where we could actually make these peptides and where we actually have these techniques, these computer techniques where we say, oh, in silico modeling and what we understand about the structure of these receptors in the body, now we can actually deduce from the computer what the primary structure of the peptide would be that would bind and activate that site. So why don't we make it in the lab? And so we make it in the lab. We don't, but scientists do, right? And those peptides generally can't be ingested because they are vulnerable to all sorts of degradation by peptidases and acids and things. So they need to be injected. And even when they're injected, guess what? The body has, they're really quite vulnerable still because the body has all of these proteases and they're designed to be broken down because they're not really text messages, they're actually Snapchat messages. The half-life of a typical peptide messenger in the body is about 2 minutes, maybe maximum 30 minutes. That means half of it's gone in a minute. 3/4 of it's gone in 2 minutes. The body designs these messengers to like go find the source, give the message, and then dissolve, right? And that's how nature builds in this safety. So back to pharma then, yeah, they're very powerful messengers, but if you really want a strong message, then you need to bioengineer it a little bit. So you'll get that primary structure and you go, well, this site here is really vulnerable. If we do an amino acid substitution here, will that help it to last longer? So let's try it. And they try it and it goes, oh, that lasts longer. So I'll give you an example. The GLP-1 receptor agonists that help, message the brain to that you're full. Um, the natural GLP-1 in the body, half-life 2 minutes. The synthetic one, the Ozempic, for example, half-life 1 week. And so when you have such a very potent message that is hammering that signal, that can be a very powerful tool in medicine. But when you're talking about sort of healthy people that need a little bit of help with appetite control, maybe that's a little bit too much. Because what happens? Because that signal is so strong, then you're not getting the nutrients that you need, especially amino acids like, from protein that would normally signal the muscle to hang around a little longer. So you're going to get myostatin released instead, and the muscle would degrade. So it's a strong side effect when you start to give the long half-life. So we thought, well, as Justin already outlined, nature actually provides some of this. The difference between then what we're doing and what the synthetic peptides is doing is that we can now use AI to look into nature. And we might, we already have the sequences, the whole genome of most of these things, these plants. As Justin said, it becomes a math problem because guess what? There's about 1 billion codons, and that's like 900 encyclopedias. So, Justin and I could sit in a room and read those encyclopedias looking for the exact primary sequence that we need, and it would take us literally thousands of years. But AI can pass through it and go, oh, well, I found it. I found a peptide in the fava bean, and it's in this particular protein. It's right here. So the next step then is to use science to tease that out, like use the right temperature, the right pH, like get the raw material, and now experiment with peptidases and proteases and the right pH and the right time and everything else and tease that peptide out. Now, it usually doesn't come alone. So in a synthetic peptide, it would be basically, yep, I've made the peptide. I'm going to put in some solvents to stop these peptides from sticking to each other. And then let's inject it. And guess what? Because it's alone, it's not chaperoned in any way, extremely vulnerable, broken down. But actually in nature, you'll isolate the peptide, but it's actually sort of still encrypted somewhat in a whole bunch of natural short peptides and things. And we've found that actually gives it protection, the GI route, and that it actually does find the source. But it is up to us to do gastric acid simulated solutions to make sure it survives, send it to the proteomics lab to make sure, with mass spec that it's still surviving, cell culture techniques to make sure it's binding to the target and activating it, and then human studies to make sure that it's actually still working. So that's kind of the big difference between synthetic and natural. Now, the first question that people ask, of course, is if you know anything about this, well, how do they survive? It can't be a real peptide. It's just going to break down in the GI, just like it's a protein, just like you ate a steak. But actually, no, these peptides, depending upon the structure, depending upon the amino acids that are present naturally, depending upon the disulfide bonds, it can resist. I'll give you some examples from nature. Colostrum is full of peptides. It has defensins and transferins, all sorts of things that protect the baby's immune system. They're antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral. If you drink a liter of milk, you'll get enough peptide called lactoferrin that it will protect your immune system. Or there's other ones like lactium that will actually help you feel sleepy. So they are in nature. You just have to find them and test them and make sure they survive. So we've just got a couple more minutes, so I want to ask you the question. Okay, if the body already does this, then why do we need them? Why do we need a supplement that's got some of these peptides? And I'll make a long story really short. The two-word answer is evolutionary biology. And what I mean by that is because we have incredible bodies, but they are designed for extreme scarcity. Just think 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago, the human condition. We farmed for our food. We probably spent 3, 4, 6,000 calories a day either hunting or farming. And then when we did get food, it was scarce And sometimes it might be a couple of days between meals. So your body developed all of these systems, this cell-cell communication system, to give you a very acute sense of food-seeking behavior and to dump any extra, save calories wherever possible. Basically, we're building a Prius, not a muscle car. And if you don't need that muscle, dump it because it's using too many calories. Okay, now fast forward to your age. What is the biggest issue that we have? Sedentary lifestyle. We also have abundant food. And so that is leading to an obesity epidemic, right? And we're losing, we're not keeping the muscle that we need and we're gaining fat and there's all these issues. There's more. There's circadian rhythm issues. We can leave the lights on all night if we want to, and that interferes with our circadian rhythm and our sleep patterns. So if we can harness the power of peptides, natural peptides, and modify our behavior somewhat and help us to modify our behavior with this strategy, I think we're onto a winning future here. And as Justin said, we're not just relying on old techniques that take 20 years to develop a peptide anymore. We have a platform where we can use technology, just mind-boggling technology, to find and develop these peptides, from woe to go in just a few years. So that is Make Wellness in a nutshell.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. But now, can I just close everyone that's plugged in for the first time with my own personal testimony? I've got a little workout top under here, and I just need y'all to know I was introduced to these bioactive peptides just a little over 30 days. I'm an avid pickleball player. I have not lifted weights in years, although I will tell you that I just joined my fitness club again because there's something about these bioactive peptides where you feel stronger, more energetic, and you want to work out. But here's my true story. When Dr. Mark Bartlett talks about some of the clinical studies about that one of our products called lean, 100% of the fat lost was visceral fat. Medical term, but let's just say, that layer that we all carry around. Let me just show you. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I started like stopping myself in the mirror, started with looking at my legs and thinking, oh my gosh, I've got muscle poppage. I don't even know what to begin to tell you all. These bioactive peptides work. My testimony is this. We have 6 products. I use all 6 of them. I start with fit because I play pickleball. I need to quickly recover. I need to reserve my muscle, my lean tissue, recover my lean tissue. All of those things started happening really within 1 week of taking fit. And then the results of lean, I started seeing little muscle fibers in my legs and in my abs and in my arms that blew my mind. It gets better. Then following that product, mid-afternoon, I would take my Energize drink with focus. And all of a sudden, things were brighter out there in the world. Like my thoughts were clearer. The fog was gone. Have not gone a day without those products. And then to end with this last part of this testimony, friends, is I'm a belly sleeper and I toss and turn, ask my husband all night long. That probably affects my REM sleep, my deep sleep. The moment I started taking our Calm product, my husband woke up and said, you're not moving. I promise you these peptides work. And my call to action for each and every one of you is to get back to the person that invited you, get your own stash of these peptides, because within just a few days, you'll start having more energy. You'll start recovering. You won't be anywhere near as sore following a workout. So I'm so honored that Justin, thank you so much for taking the time to be on this, because I know that we're 6 months old and I don't know if anybody shared with you, but I've been in the direct sales industry for 37 years. I have never witnessed a company in momentum that's growing month after month like this. My phone blows up because people want to use these products. Last, I will leave you with, especially if you're a physician in the healthcare professional industry, it's pretty common that in the industry of direct sales, that auto ship or subscribe and save is usually around 20% of the customers will put a product on auto ship. With Make Wellness, these peptides that I'm telling you about that I won't go a day without, the average customer, 75% of our customers put these products on subscribe and save. So if you're someone as a healthcare professional, you don't want to have to keep reminding your patients to reorder. You put them on subscribe and save, knowing that 75% will keep using our products. It's a game changer, friends. So with that said, Mark Bartlett, I adore you to pieces. You're so smart. I could listen to you for hours. Thank you so much for taking the time to educate all of us deeply on what these bioactive peptides are. We
Our
look
pleasure.
forward.
Thank you.
Yes, we look forward to the future of building a strong Make Wellness community. Blessings to all of you guys. Take care.